Hey there, Internet Dwellers, I am Joe Maven, and welcome to Joe's Gallery of Films, the show pretty much where I just discuss and recommend 3 sets of movies each time that I feel like don't get enough attention, and I feel like not a lot of people talk about, or it seems like not a lot of people have seen, and I give awareness to them and tell all of you out there who are viewing this video why you should seek out these certain types of features. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do what I just said. Yeah. So the first film that I recommend to all of you for this episode is a foreign film all the way in Iran. And it's a film called The Mirror, and it's a very, very simplistic film, directed by Jafar Panahi. I hope I said that right. Jafar Panahi. There's not an R. Jafar Panahi. He directed this film. I'm so sorry to the director. I'm so sorry. But he directed the film called The Mirror, and it's basically just a movie about an Iranian little girl who gets off of school and waiting by the bus, and she's waiting for her mother, but her mother is nowhere to be seen. And the little girl decides, instead of just waiting, just decides to go on the local bus that comes to her bus stop that she waits at, and she goes on the bus by herself. And then at this moment, chaos strikes. But I can't say a lot. I really can't say a lot. In this show, there's going to be lots of movies where I describe them to you, but I can't describe them in full detail because movies such as The Mirror are the types of movies that you need to see for yourself. Because if I describe any more than the basic plot, well, just the first couple of minutes to you of what I described, the whole movie experience for you will be ruined. And I don't want to do that. So I'm not. But yeah, that's basically all you need to know. And all you're going to see in the very first couple of minutes in the movie. And then after that, it blew my mind. It blew my mind. Maybe it might not blow your mind, but me, I was just, what? It was trippy. It was trippy. This is the embodiment of vagueness, but take my word for it. It's very good. The Mirror is just something it's definitely an experimental film. It's an experiment that occurred during the shooting of the movie, and that's why I love it. There's a very uniqueness. I'm not sure if there's a rewatchability to it, because I'm not going to describe how, but it's as the movie goes on, it's so slow. It drags along, but when you watch it, you'll understand why. I'm being super vague, but I kind of have to. You might not see a lot in this, and if you say that, what was that, Joe? That was nothing. Why did you recommend me that? If you think that after you watch it, I wouldn't blame you. I'm just a weird, bizarro type of person that has odd taste in movies, but I mean, it intrigued me, and I think hopefully it will intrigue you. So the next film that I'd like to recommend in this episode of Joe's Gallery of Films is a short film called Melonmorphisis, and this is a movie that actually just was released online early this year. I know it's early this year currently, but earlier this year in 2019, it was created, and yeah, it's basically it has to do with a cantaloupe, That's all I'm gonna say. I really, really enjoyed it. It's very weird, but I love weird things. It's very bizarre, but I think that it has great acting, and the writing, no joke, is definitely good. It was very, very hilarious and very, very quirky and weird and odd. But again, I love odd and weird. But I feel like I'm not gonna describe this short film to you because I feel like I don't feel like I can do justice in describing this short. So, as a first for this show, I'm going to do something different. I'm not going to describe the details, more in detail, information about Melonmorphisis, this short film. No, for the first time on this show, I'm not going to describe to you. How about I bring it over to the director of this short film? We keep in touch pretty well, yeah. He's also my good friend, but director of Melonmorphisis, Aaron Clausen. I will give him the floor, and he will describe his movie that he has directed, that you can watch on YouTube currently, online now, and he'll describe details on what the film is about in his own words, and the behind-the-scenes trivia and what went into the making of this short film. So, Aaron, how about I just bring the floor over to you? Here you go, good sir.
Why Melonmorphisis? Well, that started because I wanted to make a movie about a watermelon. And then I was like, maybe I want to make a movie about a watermelon that can talk. Especially because I like voice acting, so I was like, might as well make a movie where I can voice a watermelon. Then it kind of spiraled to, what if the watermelon could turn people into watermelon, you know? Like, it was like an alien invasion movie or like a zombie apocalypse movie. It like starts with one and then it just spreads and stuff like that. So, went to the store to buy watermelons the day before the actual shoot, and like the whole script was about watermelons and stuff like that. Found out the store was not selling watermelon because they were no longer in season. So I was like, crap, I don't have a melon. So I ended up finding a cantaloupe in the store, and I was like, cantaloupe's a melon. Honestly, I thought, like, I was like, I'll just use a cantaloupe. And then I really thought about it. I was like, cantaloupe kind of makes it funnier, actually. Because, I mean, the short is intended to be, like, kind of like a comedy thriller. Because, you know, who makes a thriller about a cantaloupe that can speak? So I ended up making that. And then I just thought it'd be fun to make a movie about a cantaloupe that could turn somebody into a cantaloupe. But as I was writing the screenplay, I kind of realized that it was maybe a little bit self-reflective, like, you know, this character is, like, feels alone, or, like, not the cantaloupe, but the Eric character maybe feels alone, a little bit depressed and stuff like that, so I kind of put a little bit of myself into the character. So yeah, I started writing it and I realized that, you know, for as much of a comedy and ridiculous as this premise is, it's like a little bit about, like, you know, dealing with loneliness and how easy it can be to conform to other people's wills for you, or conform to other people's interests just because you want to be liked and you want to, like, not feel alone, so you kind of change yourself to be like them, to be like somebody they would want to hang out with. I mean, it's still like a comedy for as much as you can read into the film. I mean, who really reads into a movie about a cantaloupe? But yeah, it was mostly just stemmed out of the fact that I wanted to make a movie about a watermelon. I ended up really enjoying it. It's, it's very short. It's a short film. I like the idea. I have ideas for sequels or spin-offs if I wanted to do other fruit. But mostly it was mostly it was kind of an excuse to give me a character to voice because I like doing voiceover stuff. Why people should watch it, I don't know. It's weird. It's only like 5 minutes long, 4 minutes long. It's just something weird that people can watch. Very loose inspirations for the film, for the short, were like Coen Brothers movies. I like the Coen Brothers movies, and like sort of loosely Rubber, the movie about the psychic tire that kills people, which I'm not necessarily a fan of that film, but it was just weird enough that I couldn't stop thinking about it after I saw it. So I was like, maybe I don't like mind if people dislike Melonmorphisis, but I am happy that it makes people like think about it a lot because it's weird. So I think it's worth it to watch just because it's an odd film. Now, disclaimer, I'm not going to take the credit for the title Melonmorphisis, which is a genius title. No, that goes to Stuart Lamerand, because I was just going to call it like Watermelon or Cantaloupe or something, and then I asked like one of my friends, like, hey, could you come up with like a creative title for this movie? And he immediately came up with Melonmorphisis on the spot. So I was like, oh, yeah, that's perfect. So I just decided to go with Melonmorphisis. So he came up with the title. And then I guess also I really like cinematography, so it just gave me an excuse to play with a camera. We shot it on an Ursa Mini Pro. So that was cool. Yeah, hope you all enjoy the movie and seek it out. I like it. I mean, I have a huge bias because I made it. Be on the lookout for potential Melonmorphisis 2. If I ever bring it back. If I find the inspiration to make a movie about another cantaloupe. Yeah. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Aaron. That was Aaron. Aaron, thank you so much. Shout out to you for taking time to doing this and sharing information about this short film. I've known this guy for quite a while now, and he's just a really, really good guy. Also shares a passion for film, through talking about film, and also pursuing and making his own films. Now for my third and final for this episode, film that I like to recommend for this episode of Joe's Gallery of Films is an anime, and we haven't done an anime film before, but an anime called When Mario Was There, directed by, I'm not gonna bother trying to pronounce it because I know I will not get it correct and I don't want to butcher it, so I'm sorry, director, but hang on.
Hiromasa Yonabashi.
Hiromasa Yonabashi.
Hiromasa Yonabashi.
Hiromasa Yonabashi.
Hiromasa Yonabashi. Hiromasa Yonabashi.
Hiromasa Yonabashi. Hiromasa Yonabashi. Him. A Japanese anime filmmaker who directed When Marty Was There. When Marty Was There is a movie about the story of this young girl named Anna who, after noticeably being very, very sad and depressed through not having the greatest self-confidence about herself, is moved to go live for a while in the countryside with relatives. Where, in this countryside, there's a river. And across from Anna, that's in between the river, is this house, mysterious house that Anna sees, where she sees visions of this young, similarly aged, blonde girl named Marnie. And a friendship blossoms. That's right. This movie features wholesome friendships. Wholesome friendships. If there's any trope or dislike trait that I love to see in movies, is movies that display just the wholesomeness of friendships. Best friendships, bestest best friendships, just wholesome friendships. When I see it, I just, and it's great. And Marnie and Anna their friendships are just so pure in this movie, and I loved it, and I was just squealing with joy every time they were in scenes together, but like from the very first seconds of this movie, seeing just the gorgeous animation and hearing the narration of Anna, I just it just gave me the tightest hug and say, "You're in for a good movie." That's what it told me. That's what it told me. And I said, "Oh, I see your point. I'ma listen to your words of wisdom." And it was wise, because it was true. I loved it. It was great and wonderful. The animation's great. I watched the English dub when I watched it with my bestest best friends, and the English dub is so good. It's so good. I mean, it's one of those movies where you'd smile so much to where you're afraid that your mouth is just gonna combust. Your dimples are just gonna be screaming like, "Ah! It's too pure! Ah!" Because it made me so happy. You know those movies that make you just so happy? It made me that feeling. It gave me the feeling of happiness, and I loved it. It's so good. It's so good. I mean, how can you hate wholesome friendships shown in cinema? It's so wholesome, and I love it. It's one of my new happy movies. It makes me happy. I love it, and it's a showcase of how cinema can emulate human emotion, and emotion that is hard to feel in reality, or you're scared to feel it. And the power of cinema can lift that emotion and make you pour that out through watching a fictional characters that aren't really real, but they make you feel that feeling that you're too frightened to feel for yourself. It was wonderful. And definitely see this movie. My goodness, watch it. And if it's the first anime that you ever watch, great choice. It's a perfect first anime film to watch. And I didn't realize it until I was told after, but this is a Studio Ghibli movie. But I hear, unless some changes later years and they make another film, I heard that this was Studio Ghibli's last feature release. Which, I mean, is sad, but this is a good masterpiece of a film to put their final mark on. It was, yeah, so if you're an anime lover and you haven't seen it, watch this. My goodness, watch it. I mean, this seems like those type of movies that I watch where, I love it so much and it just did something to me. And maybe it doesn't do same thing for other people. Maybe it just, hit me in an emotional core, and it was just a personal movie. There's something about it that makes it just so much more than just moving images that you're watching in front of you. It can become much more than that. That's what that movie felt like a couple of movies can do for quite a number of people, and that's what When Marnie Was There did for me. So that wraps it up for this episode of Joe's Gallery of Films, and I hope that you tune in, taking in your time to watch the 3 recommended films that I recommended for today. If there's any other films that you want me to, if I haven't seen already, watch, and then make a recommendation for in a later episode of Joe's Gallery of Films, feel free to do that in comment suggestions of your own in the comment section. And if you've seen the films, 3 films that I recommend for this episode already, talk about them. And if you, after this watching this episode, you've never heard of these films, but after hearing about them, you finally decide to watch them, comment also in this video your thoughts on the film and like your own opinion, and make it a discussion in the comment section about those films, or just make it a discussion about film in general. It could be about anything, but make it healthy and wholesome. Going back to that word. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Joe's Gallery of Films. Click like and subscribe if you like this video and you want to see more content of me sharing like on the love of movies that I have, that I hope I can pour on to you and share with you if you also have a love for cinema, as well as my own short films or films that I hope to bring more of on this channel of Good Sir Productions. And yeah, do all those stuff, and I hope you keep enjoying movies.